Hey everybody, this is Minion Soldier, and this time my microphone is not on mute, so this is ship updates. Now, the first big update to come out of Reverse the Verse today was, of course, well, at least in my opinion, the biggest update was the fact that there is a big push going right now to get the Xi'an Scout done. A lot of the technical work was done before it was shelved in favor of the Herald, and now today Sandy and Ben were talking about the fact that they're really pushing to get this ship out there and to get this ship done. So for those of you like myself who are very excited to see this ship, hopefully we're going to be getting it a little sooner than expected. Next up, we have the Crucible. Now, of course, this is not what the Crucible looks like. This is just a random piece of sci-fi art that I decided to throw in as a placeholder until the Crucible, until we get to see it. But we were told that the Crucible is coming on along nicely, and that the concept should be the next concept after the next ship, which is, of course, the Endeavor, which is apparently coming along very nicely. And as soon as we switch over, once again, placeholder graphic. This is the USS Discovery from 2001. The Endeavor is apparently looking very cool and very sci-fi, a lot like a science ship, and that should be the next concept sale. Now, as far as I recall, we're not supposed to have any more concept sales in the month of July, so it might be a ways off before we see this. Hopefully I'm wrong and we'll see it sooner, but it should be coming out next as the next concept sale. Next up, there was a little bit of a discussion about the new Corvette, the ship that's going to replace the Idris. Now, of course, this is just placeholder. This is actually the Javelin, but the new Corvette has not undergone any work, and apparently it is still referred to as the yet undesigned new Corvette. And so it is something that we are going to probably be seeing in the distant future, and probably more towards the release of the PU, or the final release thereof. Next, we have a bit of sad news for the Vanguard. The Vanguard will not be in Squadron 42. However, Gurmuk is apparently today finishing the interiors, and then we'll be beginning work on the variants. There's two of which they said for sure are going to be done. And as far as I know, the two that are for sure are the Bomber and the E-War variant, the stealth variant being a possible third. We also got news about the Merlin. The Merlin will have, of course, a centerline fixed Gatling gun and two fixed guns on the wings. You won't be able to get gimbaled weapons on this, but apparently it's going to be a very excellent racer and very comparable to the M50. And so the Merlin, hopefully next week, there should be a PTU release of 1.15, which you should be able to fly the Merlin in that. And along with the Merlin, we also found out some stuff about the Constellation. Of course, the Constellation that will be appearing in AC 2.0, which will be, of course, the flyable version of the Constellation, will be the completely revamped and redone with all the new interiors Constellation that CIG has been working on. So for those of you that own the Constellation, and apparently there's quite a lot of you, you should be getting your fully revamped ship along with AC 2.0. Now, speaking of AC 2.0, we also found out that the Retaliator is going to be in the launch of AC 2.0. Now, it was not made clear if the Retaliator is going to be a newer, revamped interior Retaliator, or if it's just going to be the current Retaliator carried forward while the redesign work goes on in the background. So I don't know if it's going to be the newer version or the current version, but the Retaliator is going to be in AC 2.0. Now, to do with ships that have already been released, apparently the 300 is getting its materials update, so it's going to have that sort of damage state and the whole appearance of sort of like the Gladius, how the Gladius was a prototype for the new materials and new damage states. The 300 is now going through that process, and of course getting its interiors revamped to be more in line with the more modern and the more current ships. And last but not least, we have a picture here of the Herald from Sandy's Facebook, and as the Herald continues to progress on its way to the hangar and eventually to flight ready. So hopefully we will see a little bit more on the Herald very, very soon. I was trying to sneak in a question about was the Herald that's going to be in Squadron 42 going to be a military variant of the Herald? Trying to sneak that in, but unfortunately that did not get answered. So I'll end the show there, and thanks a lot for watching.